Welcome back to the Traders Network. I'm Michael Yorba, your host, broadcasting to you live from the Dallas KFXR 1190 AM iHeart Media Studios and worldwide on yorbamedia.com. All right, I've got a couple of guests on this segment. First, we're going to bring on Chris Rosgen. He is the founder, CEO of Capital Market, luminary and publisher of Capital Market Report. And the web address is capitalmarketreport.com. And Chris, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Michael. Pleasure to be here.
Mine too. And now you also have brought a guest of yours. We're going to bring on the show, Dr. Chris Kammer, right?
That's correct. Dr. Chris Kammer is the founder of the American Academy of Oral Systemic Health, and he's an expert commentator on the subjects we're going to be discussing today.
All right. Dr. Kammer, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Michael. It's great to be here.
My pleasure. All right, Chris, let's start with you first, if we may. Give us a little background. It's extensive, but I want to let you do it on your company and you, and then we'll bring Dr. Kammer in on as we bring up the subject of what he's here to talk about, okay?
So I founded Capital Market Relations in 2001 with an emphasis on identifying companies that represent new standards in technology. And what we're particularly looking for is disruptive technology. So in this particular case, my history goes back actually to 1998 with the company we're going to be talking about today. And the name of that company is Biolase. Ticker symbol's BIOL, trades on the NASDAQ. And this is a company that pioneered the first Waterlase technology and received that FDA clearance back then to develop a no-shot, no-drill technology for prepping cavities. So this company actually helped me to form my investment methodology. I met some of the greatest technologists that were looking at this as a new standard. And to this day, they have actually penetrated the market quite significantly in terms of the hard tissue laser. They actually own 80% of the market. But one of the problems that they actually face within the industry is that only 5% of the U.S. dentists have embraced this technology, which is actually frightening because I will tell you, based on my research and working with the doctors and luminaries over the years, that these doctors are actually practicing substandard care. And there are certain risks to our health related to that.
Now, these are big-time risks that you're talking about. This isn't just the Band-Aid stuff. This will kill you in some cases.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, number one, in terms of cross-contamination risks at the dental office, there are definitely exposure problems. So, for example, the CDC, they define cross-contamination as the act of spreading bacteria and viruses from one surface to another. Bloodborne viruses have the ability to live on objects and surfaces for as long as a week. So when you look at the news today regarding Ebola, and you hear John Kerry go out there, he's warning the world that Ebola could become a scourge like HIV or polio. In the event of a pandemic, this is very significant for us to actually start to advance these standards and force these dentists to embrace this technology. Now, what's interesting about the technology is it's not just for treating and prepping cavities. It's actually a surgical tool. Waterlase is a platform technology. So it started off initially in terms of just prepping cavities, but what we've found is that this is a solution for periodontal therapy. And a lot of the evidence and research that I've done into the company actually shows that some people are being cured of periodontal disease, and the oral systemic connection tied to this disease is actually quite frightening. It's linked to heart disease, diabetes, Alzheimer's. And when you think about it in that perspective, periodontal disease is actually what I would label a gateway disease.
Yeah, I would agree. Now, let's get this out on the table, too, because most people, when they go into the dentist's office, they don't think that, the person in front of them could have had hepatitis or AIDS or any of these other diseases that, could really change your life, to put it lightly. Talk to us about, just for a minute, if we can, and by the way, Dr. Kammer, jump in anytime that you see it's appropriate, but talk to us about this surgical platform, Biolase. What does it do that keeps you from or reduces the risk of getting these diseases from the patient who is there in front of you?
Dr. Kammer?
Well, first of all, the great thing about the Waterlase, the Biolase technology is that the tip surface of the laser doesn't there's no debris that can be caught up on it. It doesn't harbor any of the debris or bacteria. And laser energy is bactericidal, so it emits from the tip, but there's no direct contact of that tip to the tooth or the tissue. And once the tips are used, they're disposed, so it's just single use. And because there's such an incredible amount of good that you can do on the tooth or with the gums without anesthesia because of the laser energy, it's a very comfortable way to be treated. So if you don't have anything actually touching the tooth and nothing physical touching the tooth or any shots from anesthetic, you're less likely to have an accidental stick from a needle or from the actual, like a burr or something.
So you're saying no anesthesia. So are you saying that now to get with this tool, that we're talking, if there's no anesthesia, you've got to have somehow eliminated pain. Am I correct, or am we?
Absolutely. Well, here's the thing. In most instances, you don't need anesthesia with the laser, and so it's a very, very comfortable way of treating teeth and gums.
Wow. Tell me about the all these effects and how you're using, because you've been actively working with this tool for a while, right?
Absolutely. One of my concerns is that gum disease is an out-of-control disease.
Right.
You don't think about it when you think of all the diseases that are out there in the world, but it's one of the most prevalent. In fact, it's a recent article came out that was published that said that it's like the sixth most prevalent disease in the world, and so there's a lot of gum disease out there, and it's even the most common inflammatory disease process of the body. And as anyone knows, inflammation is the key to serious health illness. In other words, when we have inflammation out of control in our body, we put ourselves more at risk for heart disease, stroke, diabetes, Alzheimer's, you name it. So this is a very, very serious thing. And so going after gum disease is what I'm all about, or one of the primary goals of the American Academy for Oral Systemic Health. And based on years of research working with the Biolase doctors and luminaries, they're advancing new standards of care. This gum disease that you can treat with the Biolase is it's a gateway disease, and for preventive medicine concerns, I think it's something that you'll find at some point in time the medical community is going to want clearance from the dental community so that they can do the best job that they can do to make sure they've reduced the risks for all these serious diseases. And gum disease is the most common contributor to the inflammation going on in the body. So why wouldn't the medical community get clearance from the dentist? But my fear is that not all dentists are even diagnosing and treating gum disease, and diagnosis is one thing. There's two sides of gum disease. There are the clinical signs. There's the bleeding and the infected and swollen gums that you see. But there's also a bacteriological component. There's bacteria that can grow in your mouth that you can have high levels of without even any clinical signs, without even possibly any bleeding. So there's two parts to this gum disease problem. Dentistry's got a big job ahead to get it under control. And one of the best tools to get it under control, of course, is using laser energy, because the laser energy is bactericidal. It can kill the bacteria. It can also, because of the amazing tip that it has, it fires out laser energy beyond just the tip into the tissue where a lot of this bacteria likes to live. And as it's harbored in the tissue, all the cleaning that you do at home, all the cleaning that you do in the dentist's office, this is the part that your audience may not understand, this bacteria can still live in your gum tissue. Some people wonder why their bleeding gums never go away. And it's because this bacteria, that unless you do a saliva test for it, it might be living inside the tissue. You won't know what kind of levels you have, and it's tissue invasive. So you can keep your teeth nice and clean. You can go and get your teeth cleaned at the dentist. But if it's living in your tissue, you've got a big challenge. The laser beam can kill that bacteria in the tissue by that laser energy reaching out beyond the tip into the tissue.
Dr. Cameron, we're going to need to take a little break right now, but on the other side of this, I want to drill down in that and give you all the room you need to talk to us about it, okay?
Drill down. That's what we'll do.
Okay, we'll
But
talk.
Not with a laser.
Okay, right. We're going to talk to Dr. Chris Kammer and Chris Rosgen of Capital Markets Relations and Capital Market Report on the other side of this break. Thanks for listening. We'll be right back.
From the North Texas Traffic Center in Dallas, 635 LBJ Freeway westbound before Royal. We're still seeing this problem tying up that right lane. Heavy delays right now from 30 and out on 35E southbound just before 635 LBJ Freeway. An accident tying up that left lane. We are seeing heavy delays from Bush Turnpike and also on 35E. This one's heading northbound at Sainer Avenue. An accident tying up that right lane. We are seeing some delays from Laurelland. I'm Heather Anderson with your KFXR traffic.
Heritage for the Blind reminds you to be kind. Call 1-800-DONATE-CARS today.
Be a star. Donate your car. Call 1-800-446-1234.
Join us this Saturday at Prestonwood Polo Club in Oak Point as we present world-class polo right here in North Texas. Watch the thrilling sport of polo and thoroughbred horses racing down the field. Bring your family and friends and enjoy the traditional champagne divot stomp. It's the best tailgate in North Texas. So pack a picnic and join us this Saturday for world-class polo right here in North Texas. For more information and tickets, go to PrestonwoodPoloClub.com. That's PrestonwoodPoloClub.com.
I'm Dr. James, founder of Diamond Physicians, a concierge medicine practice located in Dallas, Texas. Our Diamond 360 Advanced Physical Exam has been created for people like you who live a high-stress, fast-paced life. Every 40 seconds, someone in the U.S. experiences a life-changing heart attack or debilitating stroke. Negative stress tests and normal cholesterol levels do not exclude you. Half of all fatal heart attacks occur without warning. Diamond goes beyond traditional medicine with the Diamond 360 Advanced Physical Exam. Proven to prevent heart attacks, strokes, and diabetes. Contact Diamond now at 214-395-3491. That's 214-395-3491. Or visit our website at diamondphysicians.com to take the Diamond Challenge. If your Diamond 360 reveals perfect health, receive a full refund. Your loved ones will thank you.
Hi, folks. This is Alan Thicke. Rule number 1. Don't mess with the IRS. They're cracking down this year. They can garnish your paycheck, levy your bank account, even your home or business could be up for grabs over unpaid taxes. The experts at Optima Tax Relief will work to get you the best deal possible, and they're fully accredited by the Better Business Bureau. For tax help you need, for tax help you can trust, call Optima for a free consultation.
Call 800-568-5349. 800-568-5349.
More than the sum of our parts.
He caught it with one hand. Touchdown, Red Raiders.
More than stamina, talent, and strength.
It's intercepted at the goal line.
We are a team.
Inside 30, 25, 20. Down to the 15, 10, 5. Touchdown, Red Raiders.
And this is our year. This is Red Raider football.
Next up for the Red Raiders, they face the TCU Horned Frogs in Fort Worth Saturday, October 25th. Kickoff is at 2:30. The pregame show starts at 1:30 on 1190 a.m.
For the Mini Cooper Weather Center, today partly sunny and warm, high of 82. Tonight fair skies, low of 60. This report is brought to you by the Foundation for a Better Life.
She didn't just visit the sick and poor. She moved in with them because they needed help. Mother Teresa couldn't do it all, but she gave her all. Compassion. Pass it on. From the Foundation for a Better Life at values.com.
Welcome back to the Traders Network. I'm Michael Yorba, your host. Thanks for joining us. Broadcasting to you live from the Dallas KFXR 1190 AM iHeart Media Studios and worldwide through yorbamedia.com. I'm joined with Chris Rosgen, and he is the founder and CEO of Capital Market Report, and his guest, Dr. Chris Kammer, who is the founder of the American Academy for Oral Systemic Health. And we're talking about things that can kill you and how there's this new tool through Biolase, this new laser, can greatly reduce the risk of contamination of your body of various diseases, not the least Ebola, AIDS, hepatitis, things of that nature that the patient in front of you, even if they don't know they have them, could possibly give to you. And now these two gentlemen are getting the word out on this thing that could just save thousands of, actually hundreds of thousands of lives. All right, gentlemen, thank you for being on the show again for this next segment.
Thank you, Michael. So one of my concerns as a family man, you look at cross-contamination and the risk. So what's interesting is I was telling you how I believe that 95% of the U.S. dentists are actually practicing substandard care because they're not utilizing the latest technology in laser medicine. So Waterlase is unique. Think of the power of water and light energized at a certain wavelength that is antivirucidal, antibacterial, and can actually provide the body with a solution for periodontal disease. Through research over the last 4 years working with the doctors and luminaries who are advancing this as a new standard of care, I've learned that preventative medicine actually starts with dentistry. So when you think about the oral systemic connection to disease, these are major issues. Now, Biolase, when I first started working with them going back to 1998, they just simply had a laser technology for treating and prepping cavities. And what they found is that it's actually quite significant in terms of treating periodontal disease. So when we're talking about preventative medicine and treating the root cause of disease and chronic disorders, this is a new standard of care that's emerging that's actually capable of reducing healthcare costs. So Biolase at this time is reinventing dentistry, and they're revolutionizing surgery. There's a number of different market catalysts that I actually expect to occur for Biolase as they've applied for a number of 510K clearances to expand this surgical platform into other areas of medicine. But given the risks associated with cross-contamination, and cross-contamination is endemic across healthcare. It doesn't matter if it's at a rest home, it's at a retirement community, at a hospital. Waterlase provides access to a standard of care whereby cross-contamination could be prevented and or eliminated from the dental office. And Ebola should be on everyone's radar, the consequences of which should not be minimized. And we're coming into the flu season. So what concerns me the most is if Ebola were to become pandemic in the U.S., and where the symptoms to the flu and the symptoms to Ebola are parallel to each other with fever, cough, or sore throat, runny nose, body aches, chills, fatigue. These are major concerns for patients. And hospitals are bracing as the Ebola panic and the flu season collides. So this is an industry, unfortunately, that I believe has been practicing substandard care for many years. It's as if, you go into a dentist's office, you actually have a roll of the dice in terms of what type of treatment you're going to receive. And I'll share with you a personal story through one of my investors who happens to be on the buy side, one of the larger investors in Biolase. He's actually a dental medical doctor, and he has a hereditary case of gum disease. And it was a degenerative gum disorder that was quite advanced. He went to one of the leading oral surgeons who happened to be conventional, and the diagnosis and the treatment was very frightening. He essentially was recommended to have a complete gum amputation, which means that all of his teeth would be extracted and they would cut away the diseased tissue to anchor in implants. He sought a second opinion from a Waterlase practitioner. That Waterlase practitioner was able to save all of his teeth and reduce the pocket size from the inflammation from periodontal disease or gum disease. And to this day, he hasn't lost any of those teeth. He goes in for a laser bacterial reduction treatment every 3 months, and he's been able to keep his gum disease in check. Now, by doing that, he's reduced the risk to the oral systemic connection that we talked about with Dr. Kammer, and that's quite significant when you think about it in terms of longevity, because when you think about plaques, atherosclerosis, heart disease, Alzheimer, those plaques are related to gum disease. And that's the oral systemic connection. And not only that, we didn't even touch base in terms of the bacteriums that are in your mouth. So certain bacteriums actually can be linked to cancer. Unfortunately, my father died of pancreatic cancer when I was 24. And I always wondered, how could a man so healthy who looked, when he was 78, looks like he was about 50 years old. What got him, a man who never drank and never smoked? And what I believe the issue was is he actually had substandard dentistry care throughout his lifetime. And when you think about what Waterlase can do to kill that bacteria and to treat that disease, it's actually something quite significant. So I'll share with you some of the market catalysts that I believe are going to be significant for Biolase. So,
and before you do,
let's
let's get the symbol out, because there's a lot of people that they've heard this interview and they're like, well, how do I invest in it? BIOL on the NASDAQ, right?
BIOL on the NASDAQ, and they're best known for pioneering the painless laser dentistry from Waterlase. That platform is actually quite significant. And right now, they're currently in the process of conducting further clinical evaluation to support efficacy claims in the fields of dentistry, periodontics, dermatology, ENT, ophthalmology, podiatry, general surgery, and wound healing. And what I've observed in terms of the wound healing is actually quite unique. This, I believe, will be quite significant for them moving forward, because really, when you think about periodontal disease and inflammation, you have wounds essentially that are taking place in your mouth. Waterlase seems to stimulate the body's immune system to help it heal. So they're actually able to, let's say somebody who's long in the tooth who has a degenerative gum disorder where the gum has actually receded. I've seen, and you can see this on my research at capitalmarketreport.com, where that gum line has been restored and the bone loss that was anchoring in that tooth actually was restored as well. So we believe that this is the new standard of care that will help to prevent periodontal disease from causing all these problems and the oral systemic connection. So if you really want to prevent disease, healthcare needs a paradigm shift. This needs to be incorporated. Dentistry should no longer be a luxury. It should be part of the overall preventative medicine plan. So healthcare and dentistry actually have to merge together.
And getting the word out, what's the market penetration on this tool and Biolase so that it does?
Biolase is clearly the leader in hard tissue lasers. They own about 80% of the market. And the reason why is because they have a unique delivery mechanism. It's hydrophotonic, meaning it uses the power of water and light. So what's interesting is it has multiple applications in surgery. It can literally replace the scalpel. And in periodontal therapy, we'll let Dr. Kammer kind of expand on that as a surgical tool there. But I'll tell you this. I see a number of market catalysts for this company once they receive FDA clearance. I believe the chances of them actually receiving FDA clearance on a number of these it's just a matter of time. It's not a matter of if, because it's minimally invasive, it's atraumatic, and it's virtually painless. I'll give you another example. I had visited with a plastic surgeon. I was doing an investigation on some of his experimental work with the technology, and he was using it for dermatology.
Chris,
he was able to remove some age spots from my face painlessly.
Chris?
He took about 10 years off my face. Go ahead.
45 seconds.
I'm sorry?
We're going to have to wrap it up, Chris. I would love to hear more about the case studies that you're going to bring out. Maybe we can have a part 2, and you can come back with Dr. Kammer on another show. Would that be all right?
That would be great. We'd love to.
All right. Thank you. You've been listening to Chris Rosgen, capitalmarketsreport.com, and also Dr. Chris Kammer. And we're talking about Biolase, BIOL on the NASDAQ. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. And special thanks to 1-800-publicrelations.com for all their PR and media support.
Thanks for listening to today's program. The Traders Network is a production of Yorba.tv LLC and is streamed live and archived at yorbamedia.com. We invite you to listen live, join in the conversation real time, and link to the Traders Network on the Yorba Media website. All opinions in this show are that of the presenters or their guests, and not of this station's owners or management. These opinions are for educational purposes only and should not be interpreted as investment or financial advice. All investments involve risk, and past performance is not indicative of future results. Tune into the Traders Network every Monday through Friday afternoon here on 1190 a.m.